Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bonnie's 2024 Fall Series on balancing two sides of the body, embodying integral pelvic, spinal, and brain connections through movement, touch, and consciousness. Thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to be together again. There are those of you who are joining us for the first time and those who have participated in some of Bonnie's past online series. If this is your first time joining Bonnie in an online series, please let her know in the chat. And if you have participated in any past online series, please let her know which ones in the chat as well. It takes a team to make Bonnie's online courses possible. We're going to take just a couple of minutes to introduce everyone in front of the camera and behind the scenes. My name is Basha. I'm the project manager for Bonnie's books, courses, and events. I'm also Bonnie's daughter. We have Isa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Isa, Bonnie's son, the class administrator. I'm here to help and support the class. So if you send an email in, it will likely come from me. Thank you for making the space to be here with us today, and we're looking forward to sharing with all of you.
And Amardeep.
Hey everybody, my name is Amardeep, a virtual event producer working with Bonnie for 4 years now, and it's been a total blast. So happy to be back in session.
Great. And Bonnie, the star, the headliner. And Len.
Hi, I'm Len, Bonnie's husband. I'll be behind the camera today.
Great.
And I'm Bonnie. I'll be in front of the camera.
In addition to hosting this class on Zoom, we are simultaneously broadcasting it on YouTube Live. If you experience any issues in Zoom, please go to the class on YouTube Live. I'll post the link to the YouTube Live class in the chat, Zoom chat, in just a moment. If you haven't already introduced yourself in the chats, please do so now. Bonnie loves to know who's joining her today, where you're from, and why you decided to register for this course. We do open each class 30 minutes early so that we can mingle and chat in the Zoom and YouTube Live chats a little bit. If you're able to, please join us for this time together before class. If you have a question for Bonnie in Zoom, please type it into the Q&A. And if you have a question for Bonnie on YouTube, please type it into the chat there. She often takes time towards the end of class to respond to as many questions as she can. In Zoom, in addition to posting your questions in the Q&A, we also recommend you post them in the chat. There are a lot of people who can share their experience and perspectives on your questions in the chat there as well. And the Zoom chat will be made available for participants after each class. We do have some community guidelines for our chat. I'll go over them now. These are also written on our 2024 Fall Series resources. I'll post a link in the chat in just a moment. Our chats are a social place for public discussion about the material that Bonnie presents. Please treat discussions with the same respect you would if you were having them face to face. The chats and other spaces related to this series are shared community resources. The chat is a space for sharing your experiences, thoughts, and questions about the material Bonnie presents. We thank you for respecting and following the community guidelines to collectively keep this a safe space for everyone. We encourage you to communicate respectfully with Bonnie and each other through the chat. As we aren't able to be with each other in person, the chats are a wonderful way to connect with each other during these classes. Reading the full chats, all of your questions, your comments, your experiences after the class brings Bonnie a lot of joy, and they also help her to prepare for the next classes. For everyone in Zoom, a reminder that if you want to share your chat message with everyone, you do need to change the drop-down menu to everyone before sending it. We do see a lot of messages clearly meant for the group that are just sent to Bonnie and her team. And we want to acknowledge everyone, all of you, who have joined us for this series. We have people registered from 64 countries, spanning 6 continents. And it's as in past series, we're always amazed. It's a phenomenal thing that we can be connected to each other through this medium in this extraordinary way around the globe. Our Pay from the Heart Scholarship has allowed more than 1,500 people to register for this course. It's something, the Pay from the Heart Scholarship is something that we've been offering since the beginning of the pandemic. And it's wonderful that we have been able to make connections with people who may have not been able to travel to an in-person workshop. So we acknowledge all of you who have registered and are here. We put a map together of what the 64 countries looks like. We'll put that on the screen. And just take a minute to feel how we're all connected here in this moment, in this time, circling the earth. And share in the chat with everyone which of the 64 countries you're from. Wonderful. Wonderful to see all these countries coming in the chats. Thank you, Amardeep. Thank you, everyone. Here's Bonnie. Enjoy class 1.
Can you believe we're here again? Amazing, amazing. And welcome to those of you for the first time. I hope you will feel the circle. It's something that's been growing for these, is it 4 years, Amaddeep, you said, since the summer of 2020. I want to put my arms down, but it's like there's this rest. When we hold hands, we don't have to hold ourselves up. We hold each other up and are held by each other. I'm so grateful that you're here and I'm here and we're here. Circle of peace. May we be peace in turbulent times. Maybe together. Looking out the windows. We share the same world, the same water, the same, is it mycelium under the earth, the water, the air, the heavens, the cosmos. So what are we going to do today? And that today could be any time in the recordings. You have whenever you want to explore this recording is here. So unlike a class where we're all in the same room and it ends, the recording will go, who knows how long beyond, certainly my life, maybe yours, depending what holds in the future for technology. So I bring a lot to the class. Those of you who've been here know that there's more than to absorb than in this moment. So a lot of what happens is really, maybe most or all, maybe, is what you bring to yourself. So I've lived a long life of practice, long for an individual life, short for history. And I want to share it with you. Not give it to you, share it. And then you grow the seeds yourself. And we create a forest. Many things that I will go over, you might go like they're somewhere still in the ether because you didn't experience them yet. I'm sharing an experience. That takes time. It takes time and desire and practice. So we have 6 1.5-hour classes. I hope it's enough to last you a lifetime of practice, whatever else you do. So let's begin. I'm very excited by this sharing because it's much is new for me too. I'm not just repeating old stuff. I'm in the center of the excitement of it myself. All right. What comes, let that come easily to you. It's easy sometimes to be stressed about what we don't understand rather than we just don't understand it. We don't have the means yet. And so you take what comes to you, comes through you, not trying to put it on you, but comes through you. And some will and some won't, maybe for a long time, or maybe like that. Be open to what comes and patient with what you might want that will arrive in the future. I could just sit here and like to hear you and see you. Yeah, I feel you, but I miss the seeing and the feeling and the touching and the hugs. Big hug. All right, so each of the 6 classes, we will be exploring something different. So during the week, I encourage you to come back to the video again and maybe again to find another part that comes easily to you and let go of that which is not your experience yet. Come on, Bonnie, let's get to the material. But you see, we are the material. This is about embodying our body with consciousness and embodying our consciousness through the body with each other. So today, we're going to be looking at bones. And we're focusing on this area of the body, the pelvis. Maybe that's enough to say. And balancing the two sides of the body. When the pelvis is off, maybe it's going to stay off, but how do you move it in such a way that the movement balances, even if the structure is not symmetrical? Because reality is, I don't know anyone who's symmetrical, but we can balance through movement. All right, let's start. Amardeep, please. It's so great to be back with Amardeep. The bones of the pelvis. I will say also for new people that all of these slides will be available to you. Basha can give you the details of that. And also there are written guides that you can download and color yourself if you want, if you like to have paper in your hands. All right, so most of you would know this, but there may be others who don't. I began this study when I was 16, 82 now, so almost 83. Long time, old friends. So the lower limb buds in the embryo begin to appear at the end of week 4 as an embryo, as a small protuberance in the anterolateral aspect of the body wall. And I see that it's disappearing with the chat. I have to get my own thing here. But I'm very happy to see the chat. So at the body wall, at the level of the lumbar and first sacral segments, this is very important. And maybe just put your hands there for now. The low back, where the lumbar, fourth and fifth lumbar really reach the first sacral segment. We have 5, it eventually becomes 1, but there are 5. And as you see here, there is no sacrum because the sacrum is part of the spine. It forms a pelvic unit, but it's not part of the pelvic embryological structure. So the limb buds, the right limb bud is the right pelvic half through to the foot, and the left lower limb bud is the left pelvic bone. Did I say pelvic half? Then you can correct me. That's from many years of saying pelvic half, but it's not a half. We don't say a scapula half. It's a scapula, it's a bone. So I like to say, when I can remember, a pelvic bone, a left pelvic bone and a right pelvic bone. They're not a half of anything. They're a half of a pelvic container that's made up of the spine and the pelvis. Why am I saying that so much? You see, the spine, the vertebral column, develops in the center of the embryo. When we go back to the embryo, we see the relationship of things in a totally different way. So it's originating from a totally different structure than the pelvic bones, which are created in the side of the embryo. So the sacrum and coccyx are in the center, and the limb buds come from the side body, not the center body. And so many problems arise because we're gluing these two things together as though they're a unit instead of finding the variability. All right, Bonnie, keep going. So in this early development, the primordial mesenchyme, which is the cells that create the bones. For new people, I need to say that there are people in this class who've been with me for 50 years, all the way from 50 years, actually a little more, to this being your first class. So some things I'll say may not make sense to you and just let them go. And then gradually, they might make sense or they might not, depending how much you go into it. So the primordial cells form three processes: an upper iliac, a lower posterior ischium, and a lower pubis. And the two pubic arches meet and the pubic disc forms between them. So I think, come back to me, Amardeep. This is I'm going to come up closer. I like this pelvis. It was used for demonstrating for birthing to show people how the pelvis has joints. So this is really wobbly. This is made out of plastic. Thank you, Sarah. This pelvic bone, what I'm hoping is that you'll actually feel your own pelvic bone as we go into movement. And then this pelvic bone, and then the left one and the right one come together at the pubis, and then the surrounding embryonic cells, the mesenchyme, create the disc. And this disc, I actually made it out of some kind of material to, see, they don't meet together. It's not like the right and the left come together. It's that they come to a disc. And a disc is more resilient than bone. So we have the discs in the spine, also the vertebrae. So we have a right pubic symphysis joint, and we have a left pubic symphysis joint. And then when you go to the back, when the peripheral pelvic bones meet the central vertebral column, they form the sacroiliac. This is the iliac joint. And you have a right and a left. I don't know how many of you, but I know there'll be many of you that have had difficulties in the sacroiliac or in the lumbar meeting into the sacrum here, because even our anatomists in America, and I've heard England, I can't speak for England for sure, but I've heard that they say there's no movement at the sacroiliac. Well, there isn't if you increase it. But if at this pubic disc, the two peripheral bones are not balanced, what's going to happen at the sacroiliac? You're going to have a lot of problems here, because this is the original unit, the two lateral bones coming together. Then they meet here at the center. So if there's a sacroiliac issue or lumbar, go to the pubic symphysis. It might be that one side of the pubic symphysis is moving from both sides, and that this side is locked, or that this side moves but this side is locked together. So how do we find the movement on each side of the pubic disc so that we can be balanced in the pelvis for the meeting of the central spine? I can make things complicated. I hope this was okay. I'm going to come back and sit down. And Amardeep, if you'll show the next slide, please. So this is showing an anterior view of the three bones that came together, the ilium, the pubis, and the ischium. So the ischium's on the bottom. I like to say sits bones for the ischial tuberosity is what we sit on. The pubis in the front and the big ilium on the sides. So the pelvis is composed of two pelvic bones, a pubic disc, and two pubic symphysis joints between the pubic disc and each pelvic bone. The back of the pelvic bones are open to articulate with the spine. So one of the first places to balance the two sides of the body is at the two sides of the pubic disc. When I was pregnant with one of my children, within a couple of weeks of giving birth, you can come back to me, Amardeep, please. We moved into a new place, which often happens when a baby's coming, they create a new space for you to live. And I knew there was a little refrigerator and I knew I shouldn't pick it up. I had this big belly, but I pushed it with my right leg and my ligaments had gotten loose enough that I really messed up this joint and it's fine now. But I learned about the pubic symphysis by pushing a refrigerator before giving birth. All right, let's go back to the next slide. Thank you. So in the posterior view of the pelvic bone shows the ischial spine between the greater and lesser sciatic notches. If you don't get it all now, you can spend as much time as you want with the recording, looking at it or looking at other pictures or downloading the picture that's there for you. The greater sciatic notch between the posterior inferior iliac spine and ischial spine. The lesser sciatic notch between the ischial spine and ischial tuberosity or sits bone. The posterior surface of the ischial tuberosity is denser and more complex than the anterior surface, so it's much easier to roll backward on the sit bone than to roll forward. And I'll look at that in a moment, but the next slide, please. And one of the reasons that I made this slide, and there's one on the left, the multiple view of the right and the left, is to show the incredible shaping of a pelvic bone. That's created through movement, gang. That's not a stable, static, held, non-movable bone. They're incredibly carved by movement. Isn't that beautiful? And let's look at the left one. The next slide, please. So this is just for you to explore on your own. Then we have one more pelvic slide, please. The next one. And this is showing the hip joint. So many people also have problems with the hip joint. And much of that can also go back to not feeling the independent nature of each of these bones and the disc and kind of locking it all together. And so the circulation also gets diminished. The hip joint is composed of the pelvic bone and femur. The ball of the femur rotates in the hip socket of the pelvic bone. At the same time, the hip socket of the pelvic bone excursions around the ball of the femur. And we'll be looking at that because we think of the hip joint mainly as moving the leg, but it moves equally the pelvis around the ball of the femur. All right, we have a couple more slides to show, please. This one is of the spine. And different views. Again, you'll have your own copy that you might like, and also accessibility to the slide itself. And so the next slide, please. What I'm wanting to show here is that the pubic disc is the keystone in the front of the body for transference of weight, movement, and balance between the two legs. So from when we shift weight from side to side, which we will do, it shifts through the front. Well, it will shift through the front if you have flexibility and balance. And the next slide, please. And the sacrum is the keystone in the back of the body for the transference of weight, movement, and balance between the spine and the two legs. I think I'm going to show the next two slides also, please. Well, not that one yet. That's for the end of the class. The one with the, no. Sorry, did we send, no. Did you send the spatial ones, Basha, to Amardeep?
Let me check
If
here.
not, we'll wait and do that later. So
yes, it's the last two slides, Amardeep.
Oh, I see. I took them out of order. The last one, then maybe if there's, yeah. So when we're looking at movement, there's a vertical dimension, a sagittal dimension, and a horizontal. And I'm going to go to the next slide and I'll explain those more in my body. And then these make the three planes. So when we're moving, to move in all the planes and combining them into three-dimensional. All right, back to me. I think I've said most of what I want to say. I have something here I want to show. We have a big skeleton here. Thank you. I'm very grateful to the person who modeled this. This is plastic. I used to have a many years ago real skeleton, but too many people I didn't want to take care of it. I was very grateful to this person, but I was watching it. That person had a lot of pain, I think, and problems, and I just wanted a plastic one. But this was modeled after, so there's gratitude. Deep gratitude. Well, I guess you can see it. I've got things on the floor. I'm not wanting to run over them. You see how when they put skeletons together, they make the tail. I'm trying to move it away from the chat. They put the sit bones going back like that. And this part forward. So we know not to walk around like that. So the tendency is to grip and pull in. But that creates organ problems and a stiffness of mind. So, thank you. I have this little model that shows that if the pelvis is hanging, the sit bones will be vertical. They won't be back like that. So how do we suspend the pelvis? And when we suspend it, this one is very fragile. The femur and the sit bones will be more parallel. Doesn't show it totally. If you were in person, you could play with it. All right. So what do we do here to help? First of all, to feel, you can feel yourself and you're in your own private space. To feel your pubic disc. And then feel your on the left side, you could be right or left. Feel how your pelvic pubic arch can move at this joint. So for something to move, it needs to move like this. If it goes like this, it's not moving, it's moving at the other joint. So there's a rotary action here. If you have a problem, just breathe there. And the micro movement. I've been fortunate in my life. I had polio and paralysis. So I had to, and collapsed, etc. Not fortunate at the time, but I recovered through micro movement. So now I show off because I can. Now, if I find movement in this joint, and then I want to move my other pelvic bone, almost at half, from that joint, I'm going to have a problem. I need to move this pelvic pubic arch at this pubic symphysis joint. So that the disc can also move. I don't have three hands, but if these are each the pubic arch, and this is the disc, I can move the disc. I'm moving the disc. I don't think you can see too much here. I'm not, let's see if I get closer. Maybe come in. You don't usually come here. I'm not pulling in my stomach. You see, if I pull in my stomach, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. If I move the disc, I'm free. So that's a practice. You can bring me back, please. That's a practice. Then, so what we just did was this, moving this bone and this disc. It's very old, falling apart. And this, rather than moving just one or not moving either, if you don't move either, or I don't know about you, but if I don't move either, then I'm just moving my whole pelvis. Here, I'm moving each one separately. Here, I'm moving my right. Here, I'm moving my left. And now I'm moving them together. If I hold it, then I'm going like that. Can you see the difference? And again, if there's a problem, and you can do this sitting, I'm standing, you could do it lying down. Positions, don't put yourself in a position wherever you are, find what you have I don't think I need to bring it from here. Well, this is that was the pubis, pubic disc. Here's the ilium. So if I pull in like this, the whole thing moves together. If I have to show that I have a belly, you don't have, I'm showing you my belly. You don't have to show anybody your belly if you're at home. Is that this bone is moving here, but can you see the ilium? I'm moving my ilium. At the same time, I'm moving the pubic arch. They're connected. So here's the pubic arch. And it goes right into the ilium. And the ilium is going to go to the articulation with the sacrum. So then I come down from the pubic arch to the ischium, the sits bones, the ischiotuberosities. That's called the ischiopubic ramus. Ischiopubic. You don't just say maybe pubic ischio, I don't know, but ischiopubic ramus. And that's going to be a key place for us in this exploration. As well as from the ilium, you can come back. This is the greater sciatic notch where the sciatic nerve piriformis comes through. This is the lesser sciatic. I'm looking at the screen. I can't. The lesser sciatic notch for the pelvic part of the pelvic floor, and then the sits bones. Those are other classes. So ilium, ischium, and pubis, and all three of these create the acetabulum, or the socket for the femur, the leg. This is part of the leg also. This is the proximal part of the leg, like the scapula is the proximal part of the shoulder, of the arm. So when these three individual bones come together, they knit right in the center here. So we want to balance the movement of the pubis, the ilium, and the ischium so that the acetabulum is balanced over the leg, over the foot. Otherwise, the acetabulum is going to get worn out, which many people have experienced. And fortunately, there is surgery that can really help. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Always one more thing. The inside of the ilium is carved. And we're going to really look at this as we go on. All right. So pubis goes into the ilium. If you feel here, this is the front of the ilium. Well, I'm feeling the front of mine. And then it goes around. And then here's the articulation with the sacrum. It's sacroiliac. We're going to come down. And we're going to come down through this. There's more of me, please. There's an upside down V here. Maybe it's easier to see. It's like it's facing backward. No, I can't see it on that. I'm so sorry. They did that to that skeleton. Aaron, I've been to many, many countries and they all look that way. I'm not sure why. I'd love to see it differently. Anyway, this upside down V. So this upside down V goes to the sits bones here, goes to the ischial tuberosities, and you can rotate that ischiopubic ramus. You see I'm rotating the ramus. It looks like I'm rotating my leg at the hip joint. but I'm rotating my pelvis. So for those of you who dance and you want to move into second position or fourth position, it's not jamming the femur, it's rotating the disc, not the disc. I lose my language, gang. If you're new, you just have to bear with me. Sometimes I say the wrong words, but it's this upside down V that I'm rotating. So this one side, the dance of Shiva, that it's not just the leg, it's the rotating of the ischiopubic ramus. So now come back to all of me, please. I just did the one side. I'm not sure what you did. Is in the last series, we were looking at connecting cell to brain on the same side, brain to cell on the other side. How that as we're developing our embryonic cell, the cells are relating on the same side. The brain isn't controlling anything. It's not registering anything. It's developing itself. So when I say cell to brain, I don't just mean that direction. It's going in both directions, but it's on the same side. So having explored this side, I feel more with weight here on this side, brain and body registering on the same side. This side doesn't feel so cohesive yet for me. Then once the body develops same-sidedness, as soon as we rotate or move, which we'll look at, also we looked at in the last series, then the brain to cell is on the other side. Once the brain starts to register through movement, so if someone has a stroke, the right brain will affect the left side of the body, the left brain, the right side. But in the beginning, and having worked with many people who've had strokes of long duration even, the healing that can happen by coming to the same side. That's the last series, those of you interested. So how are you doing? I'm giving a lot of time. This is a lot of time, believe it or not, to this exploration. Many of them you'll have a much shorter time, but you can come back if you want and take as long as you want. So I'm babbling. I'm going to switch to this side. So the pubic arch did already. Following to the ilium, to the sacroiliac articulation, going down to the ischium, to the sits bones, and then this upside down V, finding that rotation. So how to find the movement of the hip, I don't want to say hip, of the pelvic bones. And then within that, finding the movement of the hip joints. If the pelvic bones are locked together or asymmetrically held in some way, the sacroiliac will also be that way. What are the legs going to do? How are they going to be free if their base, I don't know if you know the word cockamamie. I don't know if it's in the dictionary, but just like that. So I see where Sylvia just said, come to a study group. There are study groups in different countries and languages. You can check that through Basha. And see the difference then if I go like this. I want to be thin and chic and, elegant. But what am I going to do with my hips and my pelvis? And how is that going to affect my not the right word, my urogenital and digestive organs down here, which is a big key in this series. We'll get to that another time. So I'm looking at time. I want to take a few minutes to go on the floor. And you're right, because it gets cold on the floor. I'll see now, it's a new leotard. I finally retired my leotard of more than 60 years. Probably should have done it sooner, but I loved it. So let's see the best way. I'm not sure the best way for me to be. I'll just start and we'll see what happens. So, by the way, and I talk laying down, you don't need to lie on the floor. You don't need to get a rug. This is one possibility. Some of you are in a wheelchair. Some of you are lying in bed. Some of you are in a car, maybe. People say, I'm on a train. I don't know where you are. Be where you are. Len keeps telling me to move over. So I'm showing you in this way. If you're able to do it, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to balance the two sides of the body. We have a midline in the front, we have a midline in the back, and we have two lateral lines, your seam line. Your flexors are on front, your extensors are on the back. There we have an innate lateral line, which I have read that fish use to stay in a school. And when we form our circle, we're forming our own formation along this lateral line. Now, if you have difficulty lying like this, get a pillow. Lots of ways, but I'm wanting to share a way that eventually, if it's possible, you could lie like this. Or on that direction, not lie like this and hold yourself and go, oh, no. Where you could go to sleep and rest and maybe just stay here because it's comfortable. How can this become comfortable? The organs maybe are going all like this. Do what you need to do. Put your hand here. But it's a place that you can begin to explore the movement of this ischiopubic ramus. Which reminds me, I didn't do the other side yet. I should lie on the other side. Feel the ilium, and the inside of the ilium. So you see here, if I just move my leg, I have this. By the way, if you're moving and you can't watch, come back and either watch or do more of the movement later. You can't do it all at the same time. As I go here, I'm going to rotate the ischiopubic, get my hand out of the way. That's the rotation. This is the rotation here. Now, I could just turn my leg, rotate it. That's my hip joint. This is the rotation of my pelvis, of this ischial-pubic ramus. So this is rotation of my leg. I looked into getting shorts, but I couldn't find anything. This is the movement of my pelvic calf. So if I do this, I can move my sits bones from my pubis or from my ilium. This is movement of this pelvic half versus just rotating the leg. I'm going to switch sides. But if I come here now, I feel more this balance front to back. Let's see if it works. I'll read in the chat if any of this made sense or you could see anything. All right. Here's another. So what am I doing? The pubis here at the pubic symphysis joint. Now I take it to the ischiopubic. So ischiopubic ramus is here. You see there's more movement. Then I take it to the ilium. Ischiopubic ramus. This is the ilium. I'm on the inside where it curves. Now, if I'm holding my belly and I can't do it, I'm also not falling out. Maybe the foot could be here. In other words, find your place, not my place. I'm an old lady, but I have more years exploring. It feels so good. Even if you're not doing anything but this, do it in your way. And now I'm going to come up because I know time is going. It doesn't wait. We're doing great. We may not have time for questions this afternoon. For you, it's morning. For me, or night. But I will read the questions, so be sure and write them. But I want to do a whole other thing now, and I need the time to share it with you. I'm going to pause a moment. I just saw, Zoe, you asked about scoliosis. It's quite incredible. I worked many years with mainly young teenage girls, young teen, working with scoliosis, also older, but a specialty with young. And so many of them straightened their spines that were even going to need surgery. But then all of us, well, not all of us, some of us have some scoliosis, and it helps incredibly because when your base of your spine, not your spine, the base that holds the spine is more mobile, then the spine can become more mobile and not just trying to push it into different curves. or the organ work. We'll do some of that. But there's a lot you can do to bring more comfort to the spine. All right, Amardeep, if you'll show the slide that says fat cells, adipose at the top. Len is motioning to me and I didn't know what he wanted me to do. Okay, fat cells. We've been exploring fat and body-mind centering since 1981, 82. So I've been really interested in fat because it has such a bad rep. It interests me. And why? And it has to do a lot, I think, with female fat. Men have fat too, but there's something about the softness of the breast and the buttocks and the belly and all that has a lot to do with soft. But I found something new about fat recently that excites me a lot. And that is, I was reading that that there can be problems with too much fat as well as too little fat. Babies have to weigh a certain amount before they can survive. So we need fat. Among other things, it's one of the largest endocrine glands in the body. The skin is larger. But I was reading that fat cells, come back to me, please, because I'm wanting to read what it says there, but I'm also thinking and recalling that in looking at fat as being unhealthy, too much fat, they weren't looking at too little fat in this article, that it wasn't necessarily the amount of fat, it was that the larger fat cells had more health issues than the smaller fat cells. And that as adults, I'm reading this, you have to do your own research. My interpretation of what I read, and I don't read a lot, so you have to go to the internet, that as adults, we don't necessarily grow more fat cells. We enlarge them and they shrink and they enlarge. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is like cellular breathing, how fat cells, like other cells, there's resiliency, there's elasticity in the membrane, and that maybe when it becomes unhealthy, that it gets stretched and loses its vibrancy. Because I remember back in the early 60s, there was a dance group from Africa that came to New York. And I was blown away by the beauty, the incredible beauty. In particular, one woman who was very full-bodied and she just oozed glory. I don't know how to say the word. She was so gorgeous. And the way she moved just was so delicious. Now, what does that have to do? That's one of my memories of fat. And there were beautiful young women and they were gorgeous also, but they didn't have something that she had, of depth, of fat. I can't begin to embody what she did. And also she didn't have a lot of things on, just her whole body was showing. So I started to play with that in a different way. So now if we go back to the slide, please, Amardeep. Fat cells are composed of a large fat vacuole, also referred to as a fat reservoir. It's also referred to as a lipid droplet. It has a nucleus and surrounding cytoplasm containing the mitochondria, which are the breathing mechanism, and the Golgi apparatus, the digestive function, enclosed in an outer cell membrane. So mainly, we've done a lot with water balloons. I thought, oh, wow, this is another water balloon, except inside so I was just reading Laura and yes, it's more, it's not watery. It's, well, we kind of know fat, right? We've cooked it and eaten it, and we can feel it in our body. Anyway, the next slide, please. So here I did a drawing. What would it be like? Because I was feeling of this, the problem of too much fat. If one needs more fat, then to go in the other direction. These images reflect my felt sense of actively engaging fat cells to progressively reduce the size of the fat bulk vacuoles. This has the potential to not only reduce the size of the fat cells, but to balance overall body tone, to automatically soften and activate the muscles, and to clarify and quiet the mind. The results of the consciousness and the physicality is extraordinary for me and those that I have shared it with. And then the next slide, please. So body fat, also referred to as adipose tissue, is connective tissue, arises from the mesoderm, for those of you who know what that is. Oh, it says here that arises embryologic from the mesoderm, the middle layer, the middle body of the embryonic disc. It is the body's reservoir of energy and one of the largest endocrine glands in the body. It is located everywhere throughout the body. This illustration shows fat cells around blood vessels. You'll come back to me, please, Amardeep. So what I've discovered and read, but then explored physically, is that fat is around the muscles. It's in the fibers, around the fibers. It's everywhere. There are two main distributions of fat. One is the superficial fat in the hypodermis, or the subcutaneous layer. So we have the dermis, and then we have we have the hypodermis, the dermis, and then the hypodermis, or subcutaneous. So that's where the fat is. So here, it's here, and then it's here. And then we have it in the visceral fat, which is all around the organs and the kidneys in particular. If you've seen, if you've had any dissection experience with, there's a layer of fat, or you can see pictures that just overlays the kidneys and adrenals. Then there's fat in the brain. And I don't know if those are the glial. I have a lot of questions about it, and wondering about with dementia, if it's not a problem of the glial fat area. And one of my practices now, it's only about 3 months that I'm practicing this daily and looking at not how to get rid of the fat, no, not how to repress the fat, how to find the tone. For me at my age, I have a different body than I had when I was younger. But how can it be a healthy? How can I be my tissues? What does the fat offer? And one of the things that we know is the myelin sheath around the nerves. We've looked at that in the last series, that's fat and a very high vibrational, I have to be careful, nervous system. And I once, when I collapsed, thought I had early Alzheimer's. So I know what it's like. I know the feeling of losing articulability in my brain, and how that enlivenment, when you tell them enlivening the fat, the glial in my right side here and the left, and I've been looking for my language center, my verbal language center, which I've never been strong in. Spoke late as a child, stuttered, all of that, words, languaging. That I'm opening that language center for the first time in my life, in my 80s. How this is on the same side, then crossing later, but in the development, how to feel the fat. So the practice, and I'm going to suggest you do it if you can, at least 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes on one side, 10 minutes on the other. A million other possibilities of your own creativity. But what I'm going to share is the same position. But now, instead of focusing on the pelvic bones, I have to close my eyes here. Otherwise, I'm more, the pelvic bones, I could be out with you more. Now I have to be in with me more. And yeah. Sometimes now when I'm tired, I just lay here and I feel not getting rid of any fat cells at all, but feeling how they can be, for me, smaller, but smaller with breathing like this. Oh, I have an image that I wanted to show you. Actually, 2 images. One is a wet sponge, which if you have a sponge, this is a natural sponge, but just if it's dry, well, you know what it feels like. It's dry. It's as dry as anything can be. But when you wet it, how it has resilience and letting it find its own shape. So it's like I'm starting the process, but I'm not saying, okay, you have to be this small or this big. Just starting this process, which we call sponging. And that was, oh dear. I filled some balloons with water. You have to come low down, and they're leaking. I have them in a bowl here, but I have these water balloons and just feeling how that's kind of a sponging thing. So if you get these and play with them, they give you the texture. I have to just blow my nose. You're like a stand-up comic or maybe a lay-down comic. I'm not hearing anything that you're saying, but I'll read the chat. So I appreciate when you share. All right, so now I'm going to do my thing. Oh, I forgot to say, to focus in this area. And as we go to the next class, and I'll explain more why this is so important. So as you explore, my big suggestion is don't go up here somewhere to start. Start here in the pit of your pelvis, and you can use your hands to feel the superficial fat here. Feel it here, feel it here. But in the organs, feel it in the pit of your pelvis. It's kind of like this, but it's like not the whole area going like this. It's somatization, using our brain to have the image and feeling something, the buttocks, lots of fat here. It's natural. It's built into the system. All right, let's see if I can just maybe come close and you'll see something on the camera. Closing my eyes. That shift came from some interchange on the front of the spine. Is very important to feel that mobility. So now I'm becoming more mobile. I'm still keeping my eyes closed. Where sometimes I could just lie there for half an hour and not move on the outside. Like a mermaid tail. Very important not to jump up here, but let it go down through the legs into your feet. This is much more than I usually do it all at once while you're energy watching. I think I'm just going to leave it at this for now. But ultimately, it's vitalizing here. So over the weeks, just 5 weeks, we'll have time with every class to do some here. So I'm going to ask you to take a little time and find it yourself. We actually have a little bit of time instead of questions. Write your questions and I'll do my best. So whatever position you're comfortable in, it's not a positional thing. If you're able to do the side, I suggest you do it, but it's not the necessary thing, but it has something in itself to offer. I'm going to suggest, there are a lot of questions, but why don't you practice, just lie down or sit down or stand up and explore inside. Just see, get a glimpse. Lots of questions. I see brown fat. It's not so much about brown fat or white fat or what's your experience? What's your experience? Maybe just nothing. You go, why, what, whoa, 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 whoa. Open to something that you didn't know. Or you do know. It's in you. You created it. Just let go of all of this stuff for the moment. It's important. I have lots of it. But you have a few minutes to let it go. You don't have to watch anything. Trust. Out of nothing can be something. And then you can either write in the chat. Some of you turn the chat off. I probably would have to turn it off if I wanted to. I don't turn it off, but I can't watch it. But I love to read it. But just believe that something is possible if you want it. I've gotten so much stronger from this practice and clarity. And for some of you, I'll say I haven't necessarily lost any weight or all of that. So much about, not about that, or skinnier or bigger or whatever. It's more about being alive, letting go. You have 10 minutes. It could be eternity because it's now. 4 years means nothing if it's not now. Be now for 10 minutes. I'm watching. I can't see you, but I'm watching. And if you look at your screen, you'll see me watching. I care. And I know you care even though I can't see you. But I know you're there looking, watching. Maybe it's 10 years from now. I'm not even maybe here. Maybe I am. You're watching. Breathe and open. Now. How to begin when it's not something you already know. Magic. Basha just said 11 documents have been added. So there are lots of thinking. You can see I had to think a lot. You just don't have to think right now. Just put your hands on your fat, place where you have fat, and see what happens. Pinch a little bit, not pinch, but just, hello, hello, anybody there? Oh, yeah. The importance of doing each side, Sarah, I see your question, will arise if you practice, it'll be clear what it is, rather than there's an answer from me. If you're able to do it, explore it, do it, just for the curiosity. The first time somebody had me lie on my side was in a dance class with Jean Erdman. That's before most of your time. She danced with Martha Graham and had her own company. And she was married to Joseph Campbell, and just showed me. Anyway, we were lying on our side in this dance class, and I wobbled. I could not lie on my side. I was all over the place. So therefore, I loved it. I wanted to know how to do that. It's been a friend ever since. That's in the 60s. So if you can't do it and you want to, it's a gift. If you can't do it and you don't want to do it, then it's a curse, maybe. What is the connection between the pelvis and fat? That's a really good question. One of the things I found is that I think it might start there. I didn't read that, and that may not be true. But wherever I've explored the fat, I found I need to keep it connected to the pit of the belly. That it's this undulating here that supports here. Otherwise, I could feel a little sick. So this practice, fat is chemical. It's energy. It's mitochondria. Has all these hormones. I don't even know which ones. I mean, they know some, but they know there are more that they don't know about. Somebody's 100th birthday, that was Jean's. Just keep coming back to here. And if you don't go any further than here, just stay here. And don't do it, like for hours. Half an hour maybe, or an hour. I play around, but don't do things to yourself. Let yourself arise to yourself. But this we have a lot of fat, things that are stored. Not everybody. The royal we. I have a lot of fat. Some people have a lot of fat. Some that we didn't need, or that's just heavy. And I didn't get rid of it. I just let it be alive. And this is important because it also stores toxics. I don't know all the things, these are all things here. But it's calmed me. It's calmed my nervous system when it starts to go kaflooey, which is another word I don't think you'll find in the dictionary. Kaflooey, maybe not. All right, I think we've reached the end of this session. It can be repeated or parts of it. There are study sessions. Thank you, Mariko. Please join with a friend, or you're on your own, or just have fun. Be kind to yourself. All starts there. Much, 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 much gratitude. I love you. Take it on, Basha, and I'll see you next week, if not tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for a wonderful class one. Thank you, Bonnie. A little bit of housekeeping here at the end of class. I want to remind you that Bonnie shared at the beginning of class that it's not a one-time practice. What she's sharing with you is a lifelong practice, one that she has been exploring for more than 60 years. She's offering a lot of information in each class and introducing new explorations. It's up to you to take the time outside of class to explore them, to look at them. Your registration includes unlimited lifetime access to the class recordings. You can go back to them anytime you want, as many times as you'd like. Be patient with yourself. Explore and approach the material, which is you, with curiosity. If you're new, it can take time. Read through the study guide documents. We added 11 new ones today to your account. You can look at anatomical illustrations, look up words or phrases you're unsure of online, and you can join a study group. There are 12 study groups offered. Each facilitator has met specific educational and professional requirements, including graduating from School for Body Mind Centering programs. Most of the study groups are in English. There are some in Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese. Almost all of the study groups are online. There is one in-person study group in New York City. You can find a list of study groups and how to connect with facilitators on our 2024 Winter Series resources page in the study group section. We'll include a link to that in the email we send you after class. The 11 study guide documents added to your account include the illustrations shown in class today, as well as a lot of information that Bonnie has written for you. We will add a video to your account after class with the slides shown in class today so that you can easily access and refer back to the slides. If you want to color them yourselves, you're welcome to print up the black and white documents and then look at the video to see how Bonnie colored hers, if that's of interest to you. We do have a copyright notice on our 2024 Fall Series resources page for how you may use any of the material, any and all of the material that we hand out to you. Please take a moment to read that. This class is being recorded, and the recording will be made available to everyone who has registered for the fall series. We will make the recording available through our website, and we will email you when the recording is ready. It typically takes us 1 to 2 days to get the recording ready for you. And we will add the Zoom chat to your account when the recording is ready, as well as a downloadable document. The 2024 Fall Series resources page is a page that lists a lot of different resources, including free resources and important information for participants of the series. Most of the questions that we get are answered on that page. We would encourage you to take a few minutes and read through the Fall Series resources page before the next class. Sometimes our emails go to spam or promotions folders rather than inboxes. And now that this series has started, we will be emailing you more. We will send out an email 24 hours before class starts, an email 2 hours before class starts, and an email after class. So if you are missing any of those, please check your spam or junk folders. And registration for this series is still open. We still have our Pay from the Heart scholarships open. We are keeping it open, and we would like everyone who wants to study with Bonnie to be able to do so regardless of financial situation. It's something we've been able to do since 2020. Our Pay from the Heart scholarships offers people scholarship assistance based on what they're able to pay. Please share this information with your communities. Everyone is welcome regardless of financial situation. And our Pay from the Heart scholarship, it is a community project. We are looking at how we can all support one another as individuals and as a community. If you would like to help support our Pay from the scholarship and those who need the scholarship to be able to attend Bonnie's 2024 fall series, you can do so on our Support the Scholarship page on our website. And that's it for class 1. Please stay for a few minutes. We'll put some of the information I just mentioned on the screen. You have another minute or so to communicate with each other through the chats. It was wonderful to be with you. What a great start to this series. And we look forward to being with you again next week on September 12th. Take care.